During this 1 week, I heard a woman's voice coming through his headset while he was playing League of Legends, so I figured that it was a friend, since this happened every night for 3 to 4 hours straight for a week. At some point, my insecurities got the best of me because they were giggling, and I heard some flirty giggling comments, and I asked who he was playing with, and all I got was an angry, a friend.
I'm not afraid of embarrassing myself in front of you anymore.
I love that.
Like, you have seen me do some really stupid shit.
And likewise.
Like,
so.
get the belt. Like,
I see it every time now,
right,
too. I love
right?
it.
So I have these stupid things that I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. Like, I was always like keep maintain that composure and like this facade of being a badass instead of being a really big fucking dork, especially in front of this beautiful woman. Like, I can't let her see it.
She did admit that she loves the attention from men, and that's why she plays PC games with men. Exactly what I fucking said.
Yep.
So she went in there purposely trying to get attention from another woman's man.
It's so fucked up.
I could not be friends with a woman like that.
I couldn't either.
Bro, you. Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Where'd the accent come from?
What accent?
Do it again. Do it again. And we are back.
We're back.
Episode 41. We're not just back to the podcast. We're back from Vegas.
We are back from Vegas.
First episode since Vegas.
I feel rejuvenated.
Yeah?
Yeah.
People said last night after they left our live stream, or yesterday afternoon, they left our live stream, they went to Jeff Graham's on TikTok. We're saying how good the live was after we've been gone, like that break did us good or whatever.
Yeah, it was needed.
Yeah, it's definitely improving our life.
I feel like I've reconnected with what it means to be human.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Lived your lizard life in the desert.
I did, yeah. I was showing people in the studio my lizard picture. Yeah, I had a good time.
That's funny. So we are, it's September 21st, our day, right? So by the time you guys hear this, it's well into October.
Correct.
Maybe not well, but you're definitely into October because we've recorded all of September's content already. We are going to do a couple of emails today and then kind of just pick up life as it was. Go back to doing our lives the normal way that we were and getting back into normal, like a normal routine schedule kind of thing.
Yeah. We're actually changing up everything in our life right now.
Literally everything.
Yeah.
It's pure chaos.
Yeah, I feel like you're busy. I'm busy. We're busy with different things, and it is nonstop right now.
Yeah, we got back from Vegas at 12 o'clock at night, almost 1 o'clock in the morning, somewhere in that time frame.
It was closer to 1.
Went to bed, woke up the next day, and have been nonstop. I worked all day yesterday, literally all day. I went from the time I got up till the time I went to bed was constant grind.
Yeah.
And then the same thing today. I got up at 6 this morning. It's noon, 12:30 right now, and it's been nonstop. I have a lot going on. Hopefully by the end of this month, the coffee thing is completely ready to go. Mm-hmm. So there will be a website being built, and there will be a To Be Better brand of coffee. I am very excited about this. I have my onboarding call with the company tomorrow morning to make that an official thing. We've already bought the domain
Name.
Yeah, the domain name. We've named the coffee. Jeff Graham, the wonderful Jeff Graham, is working on our logo. Mm-hmm. We are going to have delivery, I believe, in the U.S. and Canada, because it looks like they do ship to Canada. And we are going to be doing a whole lot in terms of that. You have your journal thing coming up.
I do.
Which we have to start having meetings about.
Yes. There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it sounded in the beginning, is it?
No, I knew there was going to be a lot of work to go into it. I have filled, I would probably say about 10 pages so far of my rough draft of it. And I want to redo all of it already.
Yeah. Well, that's good though.
Yeah. I want to rephrase things. I really want this to be, I'm really big on bringing people back into what it means to be human.
Yeah.
We are so wrapped up in technology and social media and everybody else's life that we are literally forgetting about our own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that in the event that we hire a personal assistant, because I think that might actually have to happen. And I know I've been saying that for a month now, and I'm putting it off because I don't want to spend $50,000 a year on an assistant. I just don't. It's a lot of fucking money, and it's work that I can do. Like, I can do it. I'm just stressed so fucking thin, and it's just adding to my workload.
I would rather see your mental health improve.
Yeah. The problem is also letting go.
Right. The control aspect of it.
Because I know that if I'm doing it, it's going to be done to my standard, not someone else's. And like having to micromanage through other people and hope that they're doing things to my standard just means that I now have to follow up and check on more shit. So am I really reducing my workload, or am I creating more work for myself? Because now I have to like for example, if we have AJ actually take over the full editing of the podcast, I then have to watch the podcast before it goes live.
Right.
That saves me a whopping 2 to 3 hours because I still have to watch the podcast and do the premiere. So like am I really saving that much time?
Well, you say a whopping 2 to 3 hours, like that's just sprinkling seconds onto your day. That's 2 to 3 hours that you could be in the studio getting things taken care of.
Yeah.
Or 2 to 3 hours of recording time, or 2 to 3 hours of doing a meeting for the tattoo shop.
Well, those are coming back up too.
Right. So
much going on.
I think there is a lot of benefit in hiring an assistant. You look really hot with all that white in your beard, though.
It's all stress. It's going to get so much worse. It's going to get so much worse over the next 6 months.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. I mean, life is dope as shit. I don't have any like major regrets in like the way that we've handled any of this. There are small things that I need to work on changing, but like there's so many growing pains that we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
We literally just
made it up as we went.
We thought we were over there splashing nice and easy in the kiddie pool, but in all actuality, we're in like a 15-foot deep Olympic pool
with floaties,
with little fucking rubber ducky floaties. Like we're just now looking down and recognizing how deep this fucking water is.
Yeah. It's fun. It's just a lot of stress. That's life though.
Oh, I'm gonna do a bath line.
I emailed her back. Did you see that she responded?
I did not see she responded. Probably because you opened it.
No, I told you. I yelled. I was like, "Hey, she replied to you."
Where was I?
I don't know, but
if I was not in the room with you, I did not hear it.
I think you were in the living room while I was on the computer. Either way, I asked her for a phone number. I don't want to do correspondence through emails. We need to just sit down and have a phone call with her versus trying to correspond because
right, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna do that.
Do what? Ask for her phone number?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wanted to reach out and get all of that established first.
Well, she sent you a long reply, and there was a lot of things that we may have to step in on. So
okay,
we'll talk about it after the podcast. But I think that one of the things that we are going to have to shift moving forward is weekly check-ins with people like AJ and Zach and Jen, and maybe even the mods in Discord, like bi-weekly for Discord. But we need to be able to correspond with these people. And I think doing it in phone calls is going to be a lot easier than trying to respond to emails as we're doing everything, because we're not really giving it our full attention when we're responding to emails. So a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I'm excited for you to do the bath line thing.
Me too.
The bath and body products. It's exciting for me because I get to help with the marketing aspect, but I don't have to do anything else.
Yeah. I'm pretty stoked about it. I am going everywhere with it. I think I really want to do a mental health line where there are scents that like help with anxiety or help reduce stress, or like a bedtime one, something to help you wake up in the morning, that kind of thing. And I think I want to sell like a bundle kit. So if you are interested in getting like a soap, a body scrub, a body oil, maybe a bubble thing.
All of our products are made with moon water. Fucking hippie.
I might actually include moon water in this.
Buy 5-gallon like collapsible jugs.
I could.
And just put it outside. Fuck, dude, I'm dying.
Please don't.
The cough is real. Okay, so do we want to just jump into some emails and like do the thing and then do some more of the thing because we have so much shit we've got to do today still?
We really do. And I have to leave in like an hour and a half.
Okay, let's run it.
Okay. I'm just picking a random one.
Do you want to do the couples one?
Oh yeah, I was supposed to message them and ask them where it is.
I might be able to tell you. Let us see.
Fuck lettuce.
Yeah.
You ready to just get into it?
Yep.
So this one is called Is Too Much Hurt Detrimental to the Relationship?
Sounds like a whole lack of forgiveness.
I would also say a lack of grace.
I'm so intrigued.
All right. Where's it going to go?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, what's the hurt? If it's multiple cheating, that's different from, babe, I can't believe you threw your socks next to the hamper again.
Yeah. I was going to get real vulgar.
Why aren't you?
Yeah. Because I don't know if I'm editing this or AJ is.
Okay. Hi, firstly, I'd like to note that English is my second language, and I apologize if I have mistakes in my text. I have thought about writing to you guys for a while now, but there's too much to the story, and I've been concerned about writing a short book instead of a small letter. I will try to cover everything that is important to me while keeping it short as possible. I have spoken to my boyfriend and have told him that I wish to email you guys and asked if he would perhaps add his version of the story as well, and I promise that he can read through the email before I send it out. So if there's something he doesn't want me to talk about, I can make adjustments.
This is super dope. Okay, guys, this is what we want.
This is really
I'm
dope.
super pumped right now, right?
Yeah.
Also, if you speak more than one language, do not apologize to us for not being so great with English because I speak one language.
Right. Like,
and I don't even speak it properly. I speak American. I don't even speak English. And
that is a very important distinction.
It is. It fucking is.
Yeah.
So you don't have to apologize. I'm impressed that you can speak more than one language.
Right.
I can't do that.
I'm working on sign language right now, and I'm almost certain I'm going to offend some people, or I'm going to say something wrong, and people are going to be willing to have grace with it.
Yeah.
So I am always impressed when someone emails in and they say this is my second language. Good for you.
Yeah, no shit.
It has taken me over a decade. I've been learning French for over a decade, and I cannot hold a conversation the way I should be able to with the amount of time I've been putting into it. There's just not a consistency to it.
I think I would be more comfortable trying to learn French with you now than when we tried before.
Really?
I'm not afraid of embarrassing myself in front of you anymore.
I love that.
Like, you have seen me do some really stupid shit.
And likewise.
Like,
so.
get the belt. Like,
I see it every time now,
right,
too. I love
right?
it.
So
yeah.
I have these stupid things that I do, and I'm not ashamed of it. Like, I was always like, I gotta keep maintain that composure and like this facade of being a badass instead of being a really big fucking dork, especially in front of this beautiful woman. Like, fuck, I can't let her see it.
I love you more because of
Now I'm making jokes about elbow dropping you off the nightstand and shit. Like,
you are
turning the bedroom into WWE. So stupid.
Give me 6 months and I might be able to keep up in WWE.
It's crazy how relationships evolve.
It really is.
Isn't it? Because like the courting phase, you're putting your best foot forward and like you don't want to embarrass yourself.
Right. You don't want to be
so afraid of being embarrassed.
You don't want to be too goofy.
Right.
You don't want to look stupid. I don't think there was any hold bars with me. I'm going to be honest. I think I just did everything. And if it was not for you, I was prepared to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, clearly you're impressed by me.
Our silliness, I was going to say stupidity, our silliness is on par. So there's not room for judgment from either one of us. It's fun. All right. Sorry.
Why are you sorry?
Because I derailed.
No, that's the whole point of this.
Right. But you had an hour and a half before you got to leave.
You're fine. If anything, we can make this a two-parter.
A twofer.
Women's perspective, or woman's perspective. I love that you call me woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that shit in the store the other day.
You did.
And the guy that was working behind the thing, was at Planet 13 in Vegas.
Was it?
I said, woman, and you didn't look, and I went, woman, and you turned, oh, yes, and you walked right over, and he said miss, and then said your actual name.
Yeah.
To like try to balance the fact that I just womaned you in front of everyone in the store. Because people think that I'm being disrespectful. Like, it's not. It's just our pet names.
It is the most affectionate thing.
Yeah.
I think you can call me. I mean, besides my other favorite word. Oh, God. What we have is just so beautiful.
We are damaged goods, but it's fun.
I really do. Like, when you call me woman, it is, to me, there is a power for that in me because I am your woman. I am your wife. I am your peace.
There's an ownership in that, too,
Yeah.
though. I'm damn sure not doing that to anybody else.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
I can't imagine people's perception of us because you say woman, I turn around, I'm like a little fucking poodle. Yes, daddy.
Both times that something like that has happened in public, it's been 50-50. One dude was like, go you. That was the old man when I snapped when we were at the park and you just came running. He looked at you and looked at me and looked at you and looked at me and was like... And then the guy at Planet 13, you could tell he was very uncomfortable with the whole woman thing. It's funny.
That's crazy to me.
He was also super stoned.
He was very stoned, yeah. Are you talking about the first dude that we interacted with? Oh, yeah, he was stupid.
He was
stoned, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
I get so caught off guard when people call me by my government name.
Yeah.
Like last night, we went and picked up pizza, and our daughter went in with us. And I walked in, and I said my nickname, because I have my nickname on everything. I guess when I set up my Domino's account years ago, I used my government name.
Yeah.
And I was standing over there talking to our daughter. She was sitting at the table. And they called my name, and I looked up, and I looked at him, and I was like, the fuck? And I walked over, and I got my pizza, and I was like, I was so caught off guard when you used my government name just now. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I have not heard that in years. And I walked back to our daughter, and the first thing she goes, government name. And I'm like, we don't do that. And then she goes, you just left me here. I was like, what do you mean? Get up. I was in your eyesight. Crazy. I'm on a whole side rail now. I'm so sorry, guys. It's so crazy how throughout stages of life, like changes in a relationship, I really don't identify with my government name anymore. There is so much, there's shame. There is a provocativeness tied to that name.
Yep.
That's
why I stopped going by Casper.
Right. There is damage. There is trauma. There is a unwillingness to accept accountability for my actions tied to that name. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot.
I have a few people in my life that still call me Kaz, but they all love me.
Yeah.
And I will never correct them because they are people who love me. But for the most part, people who actually know me as Casper, when they talk about me, it's never good.
Yeah. So relationship introduction. My boyfriend is 29 years old and I'm 24. So there's 5 years between us. Currently, we live together at his apartment and he inherited from his mother. So we don't have to pay rent. It's a one-room apartment.
How do you inherit an apartment? Apartments are not owned.
Maybe a condo?
Okay, that's different.
Right. I'm thinking.
No, English. Right.
Right.
Got it. Second
so
language.
I'm thinking she means condo.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Good call.
I'm also hearing my lisp in this, and I'm recalling all the people going, I could never listen to her. And I'm just hoping someone hits me with Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
You want to try that again?
Sally sells seashells by the
What is a seashell?
seashell. Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Where'd the accent come from?
What accent?
Do it again. Do it again.
Okay. I hear it now. No. Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Where the fuck did that come from?
I don't know. I'm focusing so hard. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. What is that?
You said, what is that? You did it.
What do I sound like? Is that
A little bit of hick in there.
oh, that makes sense. That makes sense.
God, we are so fucking dumb.
All right, so we've been living together for 4 years, back into the email. No kids, just a cute dog. I work in finance and on a night shift. We met on Tinder and went on a couple of dates. I was about to turn 21 and he was 26. We decided to make the relationship official after 2 months of dating. This was in May of 2019. At this point, this was my first ever real relationship. I'm not counting my long distance relationship, as it was mostly through Skype, and we saw each other in real life only 2 times, and I was just 18. I didn't know how relationships work, and I surely didn't know what love was. I had butterflies, and I just mainly had the idea that relationships are like in movies or on TV shows. I'm going to be honest, as somebody who broke up, as someone who grew up in a broken home. My parents divorced when I was very young. My dad left my life when I was like 8. So there was a string of volatile relationships that I witnessed. So my understanding of relationships was what I saw in my home and what I saw on TV. And I knew that I didn't want what I was seeing in my home. So I did idealize the TVs and the movies. And I thought that that was real life. So I get it. After 2 months, he asked me to move in as I was living with my parents, and he said that it will make things easier. I had stayed over many times before he asked that. We both had jobs, and of course, I was super excited.
Pause. Gentlemen, when you ask your woman to move in with you, don't do it under the pretense of it being easier.
Because it will not be.
No, it's not. If you need help financially, that's different.
Right.
If she's just over there all the time and this is where you want her to be, say that.
That's what you did.
I want you here.
Yeah.
I wish you didn't have to go home. Just move in. I don't understand why you would want to put it under the pretense of it would be easier. It negates the want.
And it negates the intimacy.
Right.
Oh my God, I'm getting emotional.
Well, it wouldn't be a podcast if you didn't.
You're right.
Hey, I don't remember who sent those handkerchiefs there, but I finally got to use one of them on the plane when I blew my nose into it. So thank you for that, by the way.
I believe it was Rissa. I want to say it was Rissa. Yeah, you asking me to move in. I've never been asked that way before.
No.
It's always been under a guise.
Right. There's always a necessity to it.
Right.
Help me pay my rent. You're here all the time anyways. There's no point in paying 2 rents. Like,
yeah. It really did turn into, I know you have to go back home and you have the kids and this is your time with them. I don't want you to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love that you love me.
We actually bought the kids the bunk beds before you moved in here.
Yeah.
So that in the event that you had the kids and I didn't want you to go home, you guys could stay and like we could break that in, you know what I mean? What did they call it? The fun house?
They did. Yeah.
Mommy, can we go to the fun house today?
Yeah. They hated the apartment after being here.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to side rail like that. If that's
Okay.
something people want to know about.
Do it for Patreon.
All right. So back into the email. I did not know that I should have asked questions back then and made sure that we had the same values since I didn't know how things worked. I'm also going to go on a limb and say that you probably didn't even know what your values were.
She said she was 21.
Yeah. I know I didn't.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of life lessons that have to happen.
Yeah.
And it happens trial by fire. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't hold that. I would not hold that against myself.
What?
Like, damn, I wish I would have asked this. Because you've never been in
yeah.
a position to know these things. And unless you have somebody to properly show you what a relationship looks like this podcast, how the fuck are you supposed to know?
That's why people call us mom and dad.
I don't like that.
I prefer mom over mommy.
Yeah, that makes it a little weird.
Yeah. I agree with that. There are times where I still catch myself for beating myself up over shit that happened decades ago. I'm like, okay, but yeah, I was 16.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know any better. I was 19. I was 24.
Yeah.
Life is a lot. And holding on to regrets like that, I wouldn't even say that's a regret.
No, but it can be.
Right. People can hold on to those things like they were doing regrets.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
So holding on to that I didn't know is going to hinder the future progress you're looking to make with this person.
Yeah. They say the best time to do something was then. The second best time is now.
Yeah.
So she knows. And if she knows now, they can have a check-in and lay everything out and have expectations figured out. You can course correct in the middle of a sale. That's how you navigate the waters. You just have to stay on top of shit.
I moved in when I was on a paid leave from work, and since I had already made plans before even meeting my boyfriend, I had just dropped my stuff to his apartment, spent one night, and then left to see my grandmother and great-grandmother. I stayed with them for 2 weeks. It's something I've done every summer since I was a kid. When I came back to our apartment, that's what I thought in my head. I started to make room for my clothes and other stuff, so basically I just had to clean his apartment as it was a man cave before. What surprised me was he still had his ex's stuff in the drawers.
Okay.
Okay, so they've been dating for 4 years, but she moved in after 2 months of dating.
Right.
Okay. I wonder if she includes how long him and the ex were together, how long it's been since they've broken up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go on a limb and say that I can't speak for all men when I say this. I can only speak for me. I don't go into drawers and shit very often. Like,
I don't think you've ever looked at my dresser.
No, I know I haven't. I know for a fact I haven't. I've never even been in your nightstand. Like,
no, you haven't.
I don't go in my nightstand unless I'm looking for something specific. Drawers like that are a catch-all.
Yeah, I know. I clean your nightstand.
I open the drawer and go,
yeah,
it's clean.
I've actually straightened up your nightstand drawers.
Right. Yeah. So it's one of those things that, like, it's not for most men unless they like extreme OCD. They're catch-alls.
Out of sight, out of mind.
That's it. So there's a strong possibility that he at one point knew that shit was in there, and it probably just never got brought up in his mind again because it wasn't relevant.
And you've never used it, so not a purpose to go in there.
Right.
I can see that.
Not saying that's the case.
Right.
I'm saying that hearing that, I could see that being a thing.
Yeah.
Especially, like, let's say you two split it. Let's say the man and the woman have a big dresser, right?
Right.
2 drawers on the top, so 4 total, and then 3 main drawers. If his side of the dresser is everything that's in there and hers was all that side and she moved,
He probably assumed she took all of it.
why would he even look?
Yeah.
All of his shit goes in those drawers. Like, we're creatures of habits. I'm willing to bet that after she left, he slept on the same side of the bed that he always slept on. Like, that is normal behavior for people.
As a woman, I could see why that would put her off a little bit.
Absolutely.
Because speaking for myself as a woman, after a breakup, all that shit's gone that night.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to look at it. Especially if that whole relationship, not the whole relationship, but if majority of it, I've been done dirty. Yeah, your shit's gone that night. I'm waking up with a clean slate.
Yeah. I get that. I
have something going on in my mouth. I don't know what that is. I'm so chapped. That's one of those moments where I would see that and I would be instantly pissed off. And then I would have to come to you and ask you, what is that? That's all I would be able to say, because if I ask more, I know I wouldn't be able to contain my anger. And that's irrational anger in that moment.
Yeah.
There's no reason to blow up over that. And that's one of those instances where I would have to hear what you have to say and then reel myself back in. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm overreacting.
Yeah.
So I hope she goes and just asks him instead of getting mad about it. Okay. A month or 2 later, I don't remember why I decided to check, but his Facebook was logged in on the PC, and I saw that he had asked one of his ex-partners out for coffee at the time when I was at my grandma's place for 2 weeks. Of course, I felt betrayed because he asked me to move in, and now I find something out like that. I think this is the first time we talked about what moving in means to both of us. I, of course, thought that he wanted to be with me and build a life with me, but it turns out that he did not think like that, and that living together was just more convenient, and it didn't mean that he wanted to marry me.
That's problematic.
That's really fucked up.
It is. I want to touch on something else first, though.
Okay.
Let's talk about the coffee date thing, right?
Yes.
Because
it's a reoccurring theme I've seen.
It is, but people, young people,
Yeah.
You guys put too much emphasis on this.
What do you mean?
So, you were married once.
I was.
And though...
Not once, before.
Right. Though you were not close, you guys are amicable, right? You guys get along now because of the kids and you have a civil relationship. Mm-hmm. If he was like, can we go to coffee? I don't give a shit that you're going to coffee with your ex. I don't.
Right.
If I don't trust you and think that that's going to be a problem, then we have a bigger fucking problem here than the fact that you're going to coffee with your ex.
Well, I'm also telling you about it.
Right. If you were somebody who knew someone since 2nd grade and you were friends all through high school and you dated for a little bit after high school and it didn't work out and you realized you were just better friends and you went back to being friends and you were like, yeah, I'm going to go to lunch with a friend of mine. Just so you know, we dated in high school for or after high school for a couple months. It didn't work, but we're still super close. I get it. You were friends for a long time. You guys have to understand that a personal relationship with somebody does not always mean that it's a sexual thing.
Right.
In that same breath, it needs to be disclosed.
It does need to be disclosed. Even when it's being thought about.
Yeah.
If you want to, you have a friend that you dated when you were in your teens that you are still very close with. Mm-hmm. And if you told me, hey, she's coming to visit, I know both of us would go.
Right.
She wants to meet me. I would love to meet her. But if it came down to she's really going through something and she needs somebody to lean on right now and she asked me to coffee, I'd be like, okay, babe.
Yeah.
Do your thing. It is.
There's a jealousy in that. And there's a lack of trust in your person in that.
I think there's also an insecurity in it. My brain's going a mile a minute right now. There's so much I want to touch on. Okay, just sticking to that it needs to be disclosed. You are correct. There shouldn't be a problem in that because relationships are relationships. Mm-hmm. I have somebody that I've known actually since I was 12 years old. We dated a little bit after high school. And we are definitely better off as friends. And I've told you about him, and I'm almost certain if we wanted to go and do a coffee thing or whatever, all right, let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Right. Because both of us make it a point to make sure that each of us feel secure in what we have.
Yeah. I think that's the difference between believing someone will be faithful and knowing someone will be faithful. I
agree with that.
Right? I don't worry about that with you.
Right.
And my past and you don't worry about that with me. So we don't, but I've never given you reason to do that.
Right.
You have unfettered access to everything. Mm-hmm. And that's by design because I don't want to ever have anything questioned.
Right.
But I also think that, I don't know. I think that it's important that people maintain friendships to some degree. There's nothing wrong with wanting to catch up to people. You know what I mean?
Right. Like life is wild.
Yeah.
Like the dude that I've known for over 2 decades at this point, that I dated for a little bit, when we were dating, he had a government job. He was doing very well for himself in our friend group. We were still teenagers. If he wanted to meet up and tell me about his fucking life, I want to hear all about that shit. Yeah. Where are you at now? Where are you at in life? Who are you seeing? What's going on with your parents? As humans, we are not meant to be isolated creatures.
Right.
And when that jealousy comes into play and you want to start cutting off access to people, especially people that they have history with, I don't know. Their packs of wolves isolate like shunned wolves, and those wolves either die.
They die. That lone wolf shit is not real.
Yeah.
Lone wolves do not survive without a pack. Not for long.
Can they be integrated into another pack?
Yeah, they can.
Right. So that's what I was...
they won't last for long on their own. They're pack predators.
Right.
So I would also like to add that I think the reason that we know versus believe is because we have both seen each other shut that shit down with people.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I don't have to worry about somebody being inappropriate and you being like, oh, ha, ha, ha. You big, no, motherfucker, that's not okay. And, like, I know that you'll do that. But I also know that in the event that that wasn't the case and you were going to do some foul shit, I can't stop you. So why the fuck would I obsess over it and stress myself out on a what-if scenario?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And stressing yourself out on that what-if scenario, your thoughts become reality. Mm-hmm. Your inner turmoil and toxicity is going to ooze out into your reality, and you are going to push somebody away. Not everybody gets into this mindset. People do certainly get into that mindset of, well, if they're just going to accuse me of it, why not? My life is already fucking miserable. They already hate me. Yeah,
that's a mindset for a lot of people. I think that's more common than not.
Right.
You're going to constantly accuse me of doing this shit. I might as well do it so that when I'm getting bitched at, there's a fucking reason for it. You know what I mean?
I'm going to say it. I am part of the reason that I got cheated on.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe if I had conducted myself differently and put a lot of my anxieties aside, I might not have pushed my past husband into somebody else's arms. Yeah. I also want to touch on, he legit said it would be easier if you just moved in.
Right.
Like, he was not... I think men have a responsibility to be clear with their intentions.
I think everyone has that responsibility.
Right. I agree with that. I think if a man is asking a woman to move in, you need to be clear with what's happening. Like you said. Don't put it under a guise. Don't say, I need help with rent. If that's the case and you don't intend on being serious with somebody, say, hey, we're dating. We're fucking around a little bit. I'm not looking to get serious with this. Do you want to be a roommate with friends with benefits?
Yeah. I mean, that would be one way to handle that.
Right.
I also don't think that you should move in with people unless there's been a discussion of marriage in the future.
I agree with that too.
And like, obviously that's not always been the case in my life, but knowing what I know now versus what I know then, like you shouldn't do that. You should live separate for as long as you can until you know what you want to do and then start playing house afterwards.
Yeah. That playing house can ruin people's fucking lives.
It can. And it can also make it to the point where you never get married. Because once you're living as if you're already married, there's a whole lot of, well, what's the point? We're already married.
Yeah.
We're already living that way. We don't need the extra commitment. What's the point in that? Like, we see that shit on TikTok constantly.
There could also be my name's on the lease. Get out.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole lot of messiness that goes into all that too.
Okay. Back into the email. I wanted to blame him, but he did nothing wrong. I should have known to ask about this. Okay. He did do something wrong. You both are in the wrong here. You both have made a mistake. Neither of you were clear with what your intentions were with this relationship and moving in. I don't play the blame game. Even when the kids come to me arguing about shit. This morning I walked out the front door and I already heard Sissy, I'm sorry. And our son's, Mommy, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. If you guys can't figure it out between the two of you, you both are just going to get in trouble.
Yep.
You know how to handle situations. I hear her apologizing to you. Have a conversation with your sister. Don't come to me about it.
I started asking them when they're telling on each other, and be like, you want to get your brother or sister in trouble? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then why are you telling on them? Mm-hmm. Do you want them to have to stand in a corner? You want them to get a spanking? What are you trying to do right now?
Right.
Because I want them to understand the consequences for those things.
Yeah.
Because you can hear them apologizing repeatedly, and it's not because they're afraid they're going to get in trouble, because the kids don't really get in trouble. Like, it's not like we ever have to really truly punish these kids.
Yeah.
They stand in a corner for a minute until they, calm down, and then we talk to them so they understand it's more of a timeout just to get them away from each other or to make them stop doing what they're doing.
Right.
And then we discuss it.
Yeah. The corner is also after two or three conversations of, look, you know what you're doing is wrong. You are about to go stand in the corner for a minute or two if you don't stop.
Yeah.
And it's the removing them from the play is what gets them upset.
Yeah.
And okay, they're being serious.
We're working on that too, so that it becomes a once thing.
Since this happened 3.5 years ago, I can't remember every detail about it, but this was the first time I realized that a lot of steps were missed before even considering moving in with each other. Consider it my first lesson about relationships. Everything went great for the rest of the year, no arguments. I guess we can call it the honeymoon phase. Around January or February of 2020, I think, during this 1 week, I heard a woman's voice coming through his headset while he was playing League of Legends. So I figured that it was a friend, since this happened every night for 3 to 4 hours straight for a week. At some point, my insecurities got the best of me because they were giggling, and I heard some flirty giggling comments, and I asked who he was playing with, and all I got was an angry, a friend. Okay, I'm going to pause there. I would have a problem with that. You spending 3 to 4 hours every night for a week with another woman when I'm sitting out there waiting to spend time with you, I would be pretty pissed off about that. I wouldn't be insecure. It would be a look, I'm your wife. I've been looking forward to spending time with you all day. I am not okay with just laying in bed and falling asleep with you.
Yeah. So it's funny because it's not at all where my brain went.
Really?
How complacent do you have to be in your life to spend 3 to 4 hours a day playing video games?
Escapism.
I don't have 3 to 4 hours of my day.
No, you don't.
I actually enjoy playing Need for Speed, right? And I'll get on there every once in a while and play for 15 minutes, maybe an hour, sometimes late at night, sometimes early in the morning. But like very rarely do I actually dedicate time to playing video games.
Right.
I don't have the time for it. And that's not because I don't want to play video games. I would love to fucking relax and play video games, but I have money to make and children to feed and fucking employees to look after and like
me.
Right. 3 to 4 hours a day on video games.
Yeah.
Tell me that you have no true ambition and that your life is not going to go anywhere. That's 21 hours a week.
Right.
On the low end.
Yeah. Everybody I know that plays 3 to 4 hours of video games daily does subpar at work, does not try to apply themselves. Their relationships, I would say, probably are also subpar at best, very volatile at times. Probably don't have very many close people to them because there's a lack of emotional regulation there, maybe a lack of emotional maturity. Oh man, I'm deep diving the psychology of it. I need to chill.
That's almost 3 full work days.
It is, yeah.
Of extra time a week that could be put to creating your own business, making a brand, doing something other than sitting in front of a screen playing.
Yeah.
And it's wild to me. It's wild to me. That's where my mind went and all that. And then it also went to the defensiveness. A friend.
Yeah, the angrily a friend.
I could see if maybe he felt like she was being accusatory. But if they've never had a conversation like that, there's no reason for that to be a thing. Right. Unless he knew he was doing something wrong and needed to defend himself immediately. But I don't know.
I also know the women who get on video games and will flirt with other women's men while playing video games. Women, it's a thing. All of those ooh-woo streamer chicks put on a fake facade. They raise their voices to sound, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All of that shit. It's very, that's that pick-me vibe that I get.
Well, at that point, they're looking at men as a paycheck if they're trying to get them to stream and watch them play video games.
Yeah.
That's a PG-13 version of OnlyFans.
I was just getting ready to say it's like a kid-friendly.
You know how much OnlyFans pulls in a year? The company?
How much?
$550 billion.
I believe that.
$500 billion they've made.
And it's all off of, not all off of, because OF is not just for
Yeah.
provocative things. Crazy.
I really thought about like us creating one and like having like selling pictures of us like fishing, but it's just like pictures of like our muck boots and the fishing lure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just stupid shit to troll people because
Right.
there's people who want to know if we actually do spicy content.
I still get asked that in
Do you?
comments. Yeah. TikTok lives, people still ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild.
I'm surprised you didn't hear me go, I really could just take advantage of all you fuckers right now if I wanted to.
Yep.
Every single one of you.
Yep.
Because that's what it is. It's taking advantage.
It is. It is. It's more than that.
It's a multitude of things, but that I believe that taking advantage is falling into that category.
Yeah.
There are a lot of... I went on a whole diatribe this morning on in my notes, talking about, it starts with, are you ashamed of what you do with your life?
Yeah.
If something gets leaked of what you do, are you going to feel shame?
Yep.
Are you worried about
Your kids finding that shit.
your kids finding it, your grandparents seeing it? Majority, looking at a pie chart, the type of men who would go to OnlyFans, I'm seeing men that I would feel unsafe being around, that I would cross the street if I saw them walking towards me. Men that would give me that creepy vibe. Maybe they would stalk me, that Jeffrey Dahmer type of shit. I know Jeffrey Dahmer was a gay man. Yeah. But just the feel of the energy, that creepiness. Yeah. On that pie chart, I also see men who are so beaten down by life, who are so desperate to have any sort of intimacy that they're willing to pay for it online because they just don't get anything from women in real life.
Misogynist.
Oh,
men,
yeah.
Men who truly hate women.
Oh, yeah. That's on my notes, too. Men who pay for OnlyFans, I bet majority of them hate women.
Yeah. And they're using it for their own individual needs real quick.
Yep. You're an object.
Because they don't need to talk to you afterwards. There's no relationship or friendship there. You are literally a piece of meat to them.
In my notes, I put, they probably can't even tell me what your face looks like.
Yeah. Crazy. Let's get back to the email because we're running out of time.
Okay.
This is definitely going to be a 2-part email.
Yeah. Do you want to end it at her perspective and go into his?
Yeah.
Okay. So back into the email. When I started asking more questions, he got super defensive and asked why I needed to know. At this point, I also got defensive. I tried not to think about it, and at the urge to figure it out, but the urge to figure it out was overpowering me. And since when I asked nicely, I didn't get an answer, I went to his Facebook since he is always logged in on his PC and checked who the girl was. I got in touch with the girl and apologized for contacting her, but I explained that my boyfriend was acting weird and was keeping her a secret for some reason. She assured me that nothing was going on and that she was in a relationship.
That don't mean nothing.
That really means absolutely nothing in today's age.
Especially if you heard them flirting.
Right. I have been this woman. I was not satisfied with an answer, so I went through the phone and I hurt myself. I am now in the mindset of if I have to question if you are giving another woman attention, I already have my answer.
Yep. Man, fucking preach, babe. We've been saying that since the beginning. You know how much hate I get over that? The cell phone videos. The 2 that I made, both of them had millions of views. One of them was 10 million.
Right.
And it was the same thing.
Yeah.
If you need to look through my phone, our relationship is done. It's not because I'm not afraid to hand you my phone. It's because you're telling me already that you have a reason not to trust me.
Right.
That's it. If you feel the need to snoop, you already know what's going on.
Yep. Yet again, back into the email. Yet again, I don't really remember every detail about what happened, but I knew that me and my boyfriend had to talk about it, since clearly for some reason he didn't want to talk about her. It turned out he had feelings for her a long time ago, but they never got the chance to see if it could be a relationship. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a sentence. But they never got the chance to see if it could be more, as either one was always in a relationship.
Right. So if she had feelings and he had feelings, this has been that sexual tension that's happened
For years.
Which is why he got defensive, because he's got a side piece of his life that she knew nothing about and he was still filling that need with that woman
Yeah.
instead of dedicating himself to her.
And vice versa. She's doing the same thing because she just said she's in a relationship too.
Yep. I don't like headsets.
Me either.
Like when I play video games, I don't play online.
Yeah.
I play by myself. Normally the kids are sitting next to me. Like we take turns on the controller. Like
Right.
it's quality time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think that, like I remember playing Destiny when Destiny came out. Me, Tim, and Forrest used to grind on that fucking game. But like everybody that was part of our little group, we all knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no like secrecy to any of it.
Right.
I don't know.
Into the email, I asked if it's okay to arrange a meetup to get my mind at ease, as this girl seemed to be someone close to him, and I knew that they were going to keep playing PC games and they were both okay with it. I'm going to add a side note here that winters in Estonia are super cold and there's a lot of snow. I think it was mid-January when we planned the day for us to meet. My boyfriend and I decided to invite her to our apartment. We went to the train.
Wait. So she's not doing this behind his back.
No, they agreed to it.
Right.
Yeah.
They had to because he's just coming to the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so that gives a very different narrative to the conversation being had, because it sounded like she was reaching out to this chick privately and was going to meet her alone to like feel out the situation. But knowing that she's going to their house means the boyfriend obviously knew what was going on. That changes the conversation.
Well, I don't know if he knows that she reached out to the girl, because she said that she went to his Facebook page, because that's always logged into his Facebook, and she found the chick. And then she messaged her. And then there was a conversation of, she's clearly important to your life. I want to meet her.
Okay. Was that in the email? Did I miss that?
So she said, yet again, I don't really remember every detail about what happened, but I knew that me and my boyfriend had to talk about it, since clearly for some reason he didn't want to talk about her.
I missed that.
Okay. And then it turned out he had feelings for her a long time ago and all of that. Okay. When we went to the train stop to greet her, and I was super confused as she was wearing this super tight short skirt in the middle of winter. I've been like, bitch, get back on that train.
Yeah. You know that you were supposed to do a video at one point about what men should look for in women to find out if they're being overly flirtatious.
Yeah.
And you never made that video.
I didn't? Was I supposed to do that?
You were supposed to do that because you said that there are certain things that you look for in a woman that would make you posture.
That.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bitch, get back on the train.
Another one is looking at you, waiting for eye contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, I know that one.
Yeah.
We've experienced that. So I know that one now. But
yeah,
you should make that video because men are oblivious. We have no fucking idea.
Oh my goodness. That's so interesting. Tell me again.
Well, this should be a different video. And not one where you're getting mad at me because
I'm not mad at you.
You're giving me a stank eye over there.
I'm just spicy right now. I'm going to out all of you homewreckers.
Welcome to Moe's.
Do I still do it for you?
Of course you do.
Okay.
What made you ask that?
I'm just making sure. Insecurity, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, get back on that train.
Yeah.
Yeah. At that point, I was struggling so bad, my mind went all over the place. I was uncomfortable and fighting my thoughts on my own head. Once we got to the apartment, which was kind of small, we had a table near the bed. I sat on the bed, and she sat across the table in the gaming chair. I was hoping that my boyfriend would sit next to me because I expressed before that I was trying not to overthink it and I needed reassurance that there was nothing between them. I know that I was insecure due to being bullied at school from the ages 6 to 16. I've been seeing a psychologist since I was 10 years old due to the school bullying and some serious health issues. This means that I was super aware of my emotions, I knew my triggers, and I knew what I needed to work on from a very early age.
That's actually a really good thing.
That is really good, yeah. So he did not sit next to her because she said I was hoping that he would, and. She didn't elaborate, so he didn't.
Right.
And then it turned out he had feelings for her a long time ago. Once we got to the apartment, which was kind of small, we had a table near the bed. I sat on the bed, and she sat across the table in the gaming chair. I was hoping that my boyfriend would sit next to me because I expressed before that I was trying not to overthink it and I needed reassurance that there was nothing between them. I know that I was insecure due to being bullied at school from the ages 6 to 16. I've been seeing a psychologist since I was 10 years old due to the school bullying and some serious health issues. This means that I was super aware of my emotions, I knew my triggers, and I knew what I needed to work on from a very early age. I expect you to be near me in public. If your female friend comes to visit and we go out to dinner, you're not sitting across from me, you're sitting next to me.
Right.
That is the privilege that you give your life partner.
Right. This is the hierarchy of marriage.
Right. Access maybe is what I'm looking for. There is a certain level that your life partner gets from you that nobody else on this fucking planet does.
Right.
Okay. That evening got...
Wait. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because
Okay.
there's a whole lot there. We talk in depth about body language.
We do.
We talk about reading between the lines, nonverbal communication. That's one of those things, right? Especially if you are in a relationship with somebody and it's always been that way and all of a sudden something changes.
Right.
Those are red flags. And those aren't the red flags like, oh, he's a piece of shit. These are the signs that something's not right in your relationship. And it could be that you're not vibing anymore. It could be that you're just not able to communicate. It could be that this person's bringing something into their life that you are not. Could be a whole slew of things. But if things have always been one certain way and all of a sudden they're different, there's a fucking reason for it. Pay attention to that shit. And I'm not saying to start making accusations like you're cheating, you're emotional cheating, none of that. Be like, hey, I noticed that this has always been our pattern and that pattern is no longer a pattern. It's now been broken. So I need to know what has happened or what I can do to try to fix whatever has happened, because somewhere along the way we have had a disruption that has not been corrected and now our patterns are fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it could have been something you said offhanded in passing.
Right.
Not even recognizing your tone could have been off a little bit and it just hit them the wrong way.
Right. And there are a lot of men out there who will not beat a dead horse. After a while of saying things, there's just no point in talking about it anymore. That stems from suck it up, put some fucking dirt on it. Quit crying. Like all of that shit that we're told as men, when we bring something to the table more than one time or we feel like we're nagging about something, eventually that shit stops. We're not going to ever address it again because it's not going to get corrected and we fucking know that. So like you said, it could be a comment in passing because I've had something similar like that happen in my life. And I'm like, mental note, I now know exactly how the fuck you feel because that was not a big deal to you and it was fucking huge to me. And everything changed at that point because I fucking know what happened. I witnessed it.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention. So those things are important. When you see shit like that, you really need to be aware. Him sitting next to that girl and not his woman, huge fucking problem.
I'm going to be honest. After that interaction, knowing that they were flirting and giggling on the headset and he got super fucking defensive, he hid her. It would be a conversation of, look, I can tell.
Hid or hit? What did you
Hid.
say? Hid. Okay. I was like, I don't remember anything there about him getting hit. Okay.
Yeah, he hid the
Hid
gaming
her.
chick.
Okay. Yep.
It would be a conversation of, look, I can tell that you have a thing for her. I'm going to move out.
Yeah.
I don't play games. I really fucking don't. That I am, now that I have found peace within myself and peace in life, I am not willing to do that again.
Yeah.
That's that's middle school shit. It's not even high school for me anymore. We're a bunch of 13-year-olds. If you like somebody, fucking tell them.
Right.
I am not a book holder. I'm not a place marker. I'm not a fucking joke.
Do you think that in that scenario that's how he viewed any of that? Like, do you believe that there's a possibility that he could have actually loved the chick that was living with him, but still had that primal desire for the other chick and was unable to separate the two because they're in their 20s? Like, there's a lack of maturity there for both of them.
There's a very large lack of maturity there.
Right. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm really not trying to justify it, but that's an honest question. Because I think that it is.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think he loves the chick. The pretense of moving in, I'm not going to marry you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. I just think that there's something different. I think that there's life lessons that have to happen.
Yeah.
That teach people how to respond to situations.
Or how to behave in a situation.
Right.
How to conduct themselves in a situation. How to conduct themselves in relationships.
Right.
Especially in private.
Yep.
Yeah. So back into the email. She started asking questions about me, and we talked about a lot of things. At some point, they started talking about politics, and at that time, I didn't know much, if anything at all. Due to the trauma in school, I also wasn't interested in going to college. At some point, she pointed out that At some point, she pointed out that I should know about politics and be educated about things happening around me. Ooh, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but it just skipped. Okay. At that point, she pointed out that I should know about politics and be educated about things happening around me, which my boyfriend agreed on. I felt belittled and ashamed, almost attacked even.
I mean, that's a you problem.
I agree, that is a you problem.
You should know about what's going on around you. Situational awareness. It doesn't matter that you didn't go to college. That has nothing to do with anything. Colleges, school systems, and as a whole are indoctrination systems.
Right.
But if you don't know your history and you don't know what's going on, you're gonna you're gonna end up like World War II.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be honest. I agree. You should know. You should know about politics. You should be educating yourself on what's happening within. I don't know where they're at, but you should know what's going on with your government. You should know what's going on with your government. You should know what's going on with the elected leaders. You should know what they're doing. You can't know what they're doing behind closed doors, but enough gets leaked that we can assume of what's happening.
I also don't know the politics there either.
Right.
Because it may not be like here. You know what I mean? Like, at least here we have the illusion of a government. We have an illusion of a two-party system. It's the same monster. It's just two different arms.
Right.
So it is all bullshit. But it's better to be informed on what's going on than not. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I also didn't hear the tone of her voice. Like, us saying that to you could have been very different than the way she worded that.
Yeah.
But her also having him go, yeah, you should know better, or you should know this, or whatever. Like, I could see how, like, maybe she felt, damn, like, you could have had my back there for a minute, or...
It could have been that she just moved here.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever it was. She just moved into wherever he was. Yeah. I agree. There should have been a backing of his woman. Yeah, I would expect that. Knowing that you know me. You know when I'm anxious. You know when I'm going through it.
Yep.
If I am going into a situation I am already triggered in and I'm trying to keep myself composed, I 100% expect you to be my support in that.
Yeah.
So I don't give a fuck who it is. It could be your mom. And if she says something to me that could possibly further deteriorate my mental state, I do expect she's new to the area.
Right.
She's going through it. That's something that she's still learning on. She doesn't have much information. She's not going to put her input in on something she's not educated on.
We're working on it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. I felt belittled and ashamed, almost attacked even. They kept on talking about politics together while I just sat there listening. They seemed super close, and I just watched my boyfriend's body language a lot as well as hers. I wasn't stupid, and I know and see when another woman wants attention. After that evening, I didn't get closure at all. I saw the chemistry between my boyfriend and another woman. Of course, me and my boyfriend talked about that night, and I expressed calmly how uncomfortable the talk about politics made me, and that I felt left out of the conversation and belittled. I also mentioned that I would have appreciated it if he had sat next to me. To that, he said he didn't want to make her feel awkward and like a third wheel.
She is the third wheel.
She is the third wheel. She is coming into your guys' home.
Right. Right. So, yeah, she absolutely is. I have a question, and this might be a stupid question.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask it anyways. Do you think that there's a possibility during that whole interaction that he was ashamed of that woman? Right. Okay. Just
of his woman.
Yeah. This is really far-fetched. Saying that out loud, this is really far-fetched. He's got somebody that he's known for a very long time that he's very close to and has an emotional attachment to, this woman.
Right. There's also, from what she's saying, a clear physical attraction.
Right. There's also a 5-year age gap.
Right.
And from 20 to 25, though that's not a lot. It's 5 years is nothing. There's a lot of life happens between 20 and 25, 15, right. 20, 20, 25, 25, 30. You know what I mean? Like those half decade gaps, you go through a lot of shit, especially in your 20s. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's a possibility there where this chick showed up, he wanted to like give her attention and he was excited to see her, and the girlfriend, not knowing the politics or being able to hold a conversation, that maybe there was a embarrassment, right? Like a reason that he would want to like shun her a little bit. I don't know. In my head, the reason I even said this is because it sounds to me like just like that. And saying it out loud sounds very far fetched, but like I'm picturing this little tiny studio apartment where she's sitting on the bed, chick's in a computer chair, and he's sitting next to her, and they're having a conversation, and this chick over here doesn't even exist.
Yeah, and they're both looking at her while she's watching them.
They're not looking at her. They're looking at each other while she's watching this whole thing play out, talking about something that they know that she can't be involved in a conversation, which is intentionally isolating her from the conversation so that they can have that energy exchange between two people.
Right.
That
energy exchange is a big fucking deal.
It's real.
It's really
fucking real.
What you put your energy into will be returned back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they were doing.
Yep.
You got me fucked up if you think I'm going to sit idly by while you engage another woman like that.
Yep. I just see like ashamed.
There's a distancing there.
Yeah. I don't think ashamed is the right word. I think there's a word that would implement the feeling of being ashamed, but like I could have this, but I'm stuck with this. Like, does that make sense?
It makes sense.
It sounds so fucked up to say that out loud, but that's what I'm getting from that. I don't know. I could be way wrong.
It could be my reality, but it's not. It's like he got to live in a fantasy for a moment, and then he got back to real life.
That's good.
When she left.
This could be my reality instead, that is.
Yeah.
That's a good way to word that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that. Okay. I think that conveys what I was trying to get my point across as. Yeah. The only other word that I had in my head was like, is this like damn? But like that doesn't convey anything.
No, but like that damn makes sense.
Right. Now that you conveyed it the way that you did and like you worded it that way, but otherwise nobody would have got that from me going damn. Right. Anyways.
Putting myself in her shoes, I would be absolutely devastated. Loving you the way that I love you and devoting myself to the way that I devote myself to you. Yeah, that would fuck me up.
So, and again, us not being there to actually see the interaction, we only have to take her perspective of it, which is her perception of what happened.
Yeah.
And there could be some truth to it. It could be over exaggerated. We don't know. She said that she's been in therapy since she was 6.
Right.
So there could be a whole lot of cognitive bias happening. Mm-hmm. I also know that there are ways to have social circles where things are not inappropriate. Mm-hmm. And like there should be, men need to be like aware of the attention that's being given. Because it's going to create resentment. It's going to create animosity and drama, and this is the unsaid shit that I was speaking on earlier.
Yeah,
I don't know. Guilty of that shit.
What do you mean?
I've done that to people.
Yeah.
I am. I don't want to say self-centered because that's not where I was going with that. But there is a self-centeredness to it. When you're in the moment and you're not focusing on anything else but what you're doing, you become tunnel vision. And in that situation where he was having a good conversation with somebody that he had a thing for, he may have been completely unaware of the way that she was feeling. And all it would have taken would have him to have just looked over for a few seconds to read the room, to see how she was feeling, to realize that he needs to reel it back and course correct. But again, 25 years old, you have a whole lot of life to live still. And until you've gone through things like this, you don't learn to reel it the fuck back. Mm-hmm. You know how little situational awareness teenagers have?
None.
Right.
I had none.
Right.
I could have been fucking kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like.
A lot of young adults could be too. It happens, actually. And it's because people don't pay attention to what's going on. They get caught up in the moment and they're too invested in what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Into the email. At this point, I remember shutting down emotionally as I needed to process everything. We didn't come back to this for a while. Coming to 2013, I am now friends with that woman, and we laugh about the situation since I have changed a lot and am now way more confident.
2013?
2023, sorry.
Okay. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
She did admit that she loves the attention from men, and that's why she plays PC games with men. Exactly what I fucking said.
Yep.
So she went in there purposely trying to get attention from another woman's man.
Yep. That's so fucked up.
I could not be friends with a woman like that.
I couldn't either.
Bro, fuck you.
I don't like that shit. Go ahead. I was about to tirade.
I don't remember where I was going with it.
On that note, which is what I was about to tirade on, I don't like it when people send you information about their relationships and our personal lives, people that actually know us. I don't like that shit because you have people that are like, this is going on in our life right now. And it bothers me. Like, you don't need to be involved in other people's relationships like that. Like that is a breach of trust. She is choosing to be friends with somebody that she knows is doing foul shit.
Right.
You are only good as good as the company you keep.
Yeah.
That says a lot about who you are as a person if you're friends with this chick. I really don't like that shit. This falls into the whole thing that we saw in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the kind of woman I can't fucking stand. You really think that you're such hot shit that every man you come across is going to want to give you attention? I can promise you my husband and other husbands like mine do not give a fuck about you. They don't even notice you. Don't even see you walking by. I see it though, and I judge you. I do. I don't respect you.
Yeah.
I don't. If you are the kind of person who is willingly seeking attention from any man you can, especially married men, and you don't care what you could be doing to your sister, fuck you.
Do you think that, how do I word this? You know how my situational awareness is with threats, perceived threats. Do you think that it's like that for women and other women?
I do perceive other women as threats, yes.
But not in like a physical violence threat, but in like in this kind of scenario threat?
In a home wrecker threat way, yes.
Yeah?
I am constantly on alert for women who are trying to break our shit up.
Do you think that's why you notice people looking at me the way that you do? And because
Yes.
I'm fucking oblivious. You point that shit out all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We walked through Vegas and somebody was almost naked. And we walked right by him, apparently, because you're
You
like,
had
did you
no
see that?
clue.
And I'm like, see what? You're like, she had pasties on and a sarong, and that was it. It went between her lips. I'm like, completely fucking missed it. I'm not looking for that. I'm looking at people's hands. I'm trying to see where men are.
Right.
I'm trying to see what people are carrying. Large objects coming around. Like, that is my life.
Right.
And I don't know. I think that, do you think that that's cognitive bias? Do you think that's life experiences? Because I've been shot at. I've been stabbed. Like, we have very different life experiences. I don't have to worry about somebody coming in and trying to swoop you up.
Right.
Especially if I'm standing there. You have to worry about that because you have had people while you were standing there do the women shit. And again, I'm fucking completely oblivious to it.
Yeah.
And afterwards you're like, I can't fucking believe you let that happen. What the fuck are you talking about?
I didn't say I can't believe you let that happen.
I
didn't say that.
How did you word it? Maybe it wasn't worded that way. But when that happened, you were maybe you weren't mad at me, and maybe I just took it that way. I probably did just take it that way because I felt like I did something wrong. I know that I felt like I did something wrong. And I don't want to get into the specifics of it because I don't want that on the podcast, but that whole situation actually made me feel like shit. All of it. Because I didn't catch what was going on and I didn't know how to respond to the situation afterwards. And
Well, now I feel the need to clarify. I did not once blame you at all for that situation.
I know you didn't.
I didn't say I can't believe you didn't catch that. I didn't say I can't believe you didn't see it. I made you aware of the situation.
Yeah.
And I let you know I was ready to fucking knock her teeth to the back of her throat.
Yeah. I think that sometimes the tone, I think, is what makes me feel that way.
Well, I texted you, so.
I can read your text tone. When you get frustrated like that, I can see it on your body. Like,
Right. No, I wasn't frustrated. I was pissed.
right.
I was shaking. I was so mad. The disrespect was loud. You do not give my husband fuck me eyes in front of me.
Yeah. And I didn't catch any of it.
No, you didn't.
So, but again, that's the difference. Like, I don't have to worry about men doing that shit
Right.
in front of me, because most men have a fear of violence. That's just not a thing. But I apparently that is very common for women.
It is. Because women can get away with it, and they do because certain husbands allow it.
Yeah.
So because they have gotten away with it so many times, they think that men are just that way. And
Do you think it's more that way, or that we're oblivious?
I think it's more that way. Happened in my last marriage.
I'm sorry about what I said. I wasn't trying to accuse you of that. Now thinking back on that situation, it did make me feel fucked up, like I had done something wrong because I didn't know that it was happening to correct the problem. And
you're a problem solver.
I am, but also knowing that I was unaware of it, knowing my situational awareness, I should have caught that. Like, I should have been aware that that was happening, so that I could have been like, whoa, but I didn't catch it. There was a whole lot of other factors during that day. I don't know, but yeah, it made me feel fucked up because rehashing it makes me feel like I did something wrong.
Well, no, you didn't, because once I brought it to your attention, you made it a point to put me in between you.
Yeah.
You made it a point.
Yeah, I'm not trying to ruin my happiness, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm at a very different season in my life right now than I've ever been. Like, the things that were priorities to me before are very low on the rung of priorities, including the tattoo studio. Like,
which I bet is absolutely insane for you to say.
It is. Sean and I in the gym this morning, I had a full conversation, and I was like, dude, if I could walk away from this and collect the mailbox money, you would never see me in the shop ever again. I am so over the tattoo industry and everything that's in it. Like, I'm ready to shift. I want to open, like, I don't know. Anyways, we are in a different season. Life is evolving for us. And the maturity and the foresight that I have now, I'm not going to let something jeopardize everything that we've built and everything that we have moving forward by allowing some stupid shit to happen. Like, it's a lot easier for me to distance somebody and like have my dope ass life than have days of drama because I needed a little bit of attention from somebody. Like, I'm good on that. I'd be like, babe, I need some booty pictures. I'm feeling down.
Right.
I need some attention.
You also don't have to ask for that. I
know.
just send them to you.
Yeah, you do.
I think I also make it worthwhile for you to do that, though.
Yeah. You want to elaborate on that?
I like to think that I provide everything for you. So there are men who haven't been touched in 3 years.
Yeah.
I went through the comments on one of my old videos over a year ago, and the comments on that video fucking devastated me. I started crying. Hearing how alone some married men feel, I can't believe it. And of course, women feel that way as well, but we're focusing on the men aspect right now because that's what I'm talking about. So I could see how a man in a weakened state, so beaten down by life, getting that little bit of attention is fucking everything.
Yeah, because they haven't had it in so long.
Right. So I think I make it worth it for you to shut down the other prospects.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. The idea, that whole thing, like the amount of men who feel like they literally, their entire duty is to provide a paycheck. They work, they sleep, they work, they sleep. They don't have any enjoyment in life. They literally just grind to make sure their family has what they need because they have a need inside of them to provide. It's actually pretty fucking sad when you think about it.
Yeah. So back into the email, the chick admitted that she loves getting attention from men, and that's why she plays PC games with men. So at that point, I was right regarding the body language. Again, I could not be friends with a woman who purposely came into my home and presented the body language as a fuck you to me because she wanted the attention from my man.
Right.
Y'all, I'm fucking crazy. It takes everything in me not to throw hands with somebody. Like, one of you ladies are going to fuck around and fuck with somebody's husband, and they're going to come out and beat your ass.
Yep. There are definitely women out there who are overly protective of their men. And it's crazy because, speaking on the Vegas thing, we watched a woman at lunch with her friend pull her cell phone out, open her text messages between her and her man, and hand it to her friend. And they proceeded to sit there the entire lunch reading the text messages out loud and talking shit about this woman's man.
Yep.
And I've never experienced that. And apparently that's a normal thing for women because we had a long discussion about that. But I got upset over that. Like that whole situation fucked me up a little bit. But there are women who are the exact opposite. There are women out there who are like, I may say, I can't believe he did this, but I don't give a fuck. You ain't saying that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me how the extremes are on that. Because there are women who are totally okay with it, and there's other women who are so overprotective of their man that, like, the shit ain't gonna fly.
Yeah.
I think that the latter part of that is much more rare.
You mean like what I am?
Yes. Yep.
You
Yes.
were pretty surprised when you found out how protective I was over you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you never experienced that? Or?
I don't know. I don't know if it's timidness in other people. I don't know if it's just lived life experience or my obliviousness. Different seasons. That's all there is to it. We're just in a different season of life right now.
Okay.
So.
Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I think that there are times where it certainly makes me uncomfortable because of the tone of your voice, because I can tell you're irritated. But it's not, that's a me problem because I don't want to see you get irritated. Like, I don't like it when you get upset. Doesn't matter if it's angry or happy cry, like you start crying and I don't know what to do with myself.
I'm so sorry.
So I've gotten a lot better with it because it happens so frequently that like it's normal. But you know, before you'd cry and be like, oh God, what do I do?
Yeah. It's just my body.
Yeah.
If I could turn it off, I would. Yeah. I want you to know if I'm ever irritated and my tone changes, it's never directed at you. Like, even if you say or do something and like I get animated, it's not because of you.
It still feels like it is.
I know. I'm just telling you. So to clarify, if I become overly emotional, I become over animated, it's because I'm frustrated with myself. And I know that I'm not in the driver's seat anymore. So yeah, it's never directed at you, and I'm sorry.
It's not something to apologize over.
So after about a year of being together, I found out that he was in debt and kept using credit companies. I ended that quickly. I set strict boundaries and said that if it doesn't stop, I will be leaving, and that's something I do not tolerate. So you'll tolerate the cheating, but we're not going to tolerate fucking up finances.
I don't understand what the debt is. Using debt, like credit companies, and like he had credit cards?
I'm assuming he was using credit cards to pay for bills and shit.
Or debt consolidation.
I don't know. At that point, we split the utilities and groceries, so money-wise, we were okay. Then COVID hit, and I was just in the process of changing jobs. Due to that, I was unable to get a new job and solely dependent on his income and the government benefits I got for being unemployed, which was roughly around $300 USD a month.
Wow.
That was rough on my mental health because I've been working hard since I was 17 and I take care of the apartment. So I cook, clean, and etc. while he's working. And of course, we couldn't go out and have date nights, but we still have nights with a bottle of wine, watched movies, or played board games. I was in heaven. I loved that so much, and the intimacy was great. I'm going to be honest, real fucking honest about something right now. I have recognized going from working to being a stay-at-home wife to going back to working. Being the stay-at-home wife was when I was in my feminine the most.
Yeah.
Like, I have recognized a change in me from doing the podcast. We have more shit going on now. I'm back in work mindset. I know I don't do as much as you do, but I am back in work mindset. And I have definitely noticed, like, I have to remind myself to go out of my way to give you attention and love up on you and all of those kinds of things. When before, I don't know how to explain it. There's a mind shift there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I hate working. I do. It pulls me more into my masculine, and it changes who I am. And I know that's the way it is for a lot of women. I see all over TikTok now women saying, I don't want to fucking work anymore. Whoever put women into the workforce, fuck you. Like,
Yeah. I think, and this is purely speculation, I think that after we've done this for a few years, it's going to fall into such a natural groove for you that you're not going to feel that way anymore. Because the work that you're doing now is not at all like the work you were doing before in any facet.
it's more of a mental workload, though.
Right. But you can do it while doing other things, minus the actual recording aspect.
I mean, no, not really. Like, the journal that I'm working on, I have to sit down and devote my attention to that. I can't do the dishes and work on that at the same time.
Yeah. Well, it's not like you're doing dishes 24/7. You know,
It's an example.
I know, but I get that. I just know that I'm going to use this as an example because it fits to exactly what we're talking about. We were in the desert, taking pictures and enjoying our day, and at one point you were like, "I'm gonna go." I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna stay in the car. I need to take notes real quick."
Right.
And I wrote a really long fucking thing while you were out taking pictures, and then I came and found you. But
Right.
like, I took that 30 minutes to write my thing out and get my thoughts out of my head because it was relevant to the podcast.
Yeah. And I was out looking at petroglyphs from 500 AD.
Right.
I would rather do that than work.
Right. Well, of course, everybody would.
Right.
But I think that as this evolves, I think that you're going to, I don't know, maybe I'm not. Maybe you won't enjoy it ever. I don't know. I enjoy all of this.
I do enjoy it. It's just bringing a certain stress to my life, and I don't think that will ever change.
Yeah. I think that if I didn't work, I would not be okay.
I am perfectly content to being a stay-at-home wife.
Yeah.
I feel like I have 2 part-time jobs now.
What do you mean?
Like, I maintain the household, I do all of that here, and now I have the podcast and all of the ventures we're doing with that.
Well, I mean, you could always not do all of that stuff and just record if that's really what you wanted to do.
No.
See?
What I'm doing is going to help people.
Right. There's a want there. Like I said, I truly believe that over time that's going to change for you.
We'll see.
It did for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't like having downtime.
Right.
My mental health doesn't do well when I have nothing going on. I don't know. I have a very hard time sitting around, and I can do it for a day or two. Anything longer than that, like, depression hits hard.
Well, I don't just sit around all day. I feel like that's what you're implying by saying that.
That's not what I'm implying.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify I don't sit around all day.
Right.
It's just a lot. This is also, I'm now a business owner. I've never been a business owner. So there are things I'm now having to learn. I have to learn to do fucking taxes for a business. I've never done that before. It's just, you're right. You're probably right.
It's new learning things, and like, you have to just learn. Once you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
It's daunting at first. There's a lot of stress that comes into it. I get it.
It's daunting. It's suffocating. It is. I feel like I'm treading water, and literally my fucking nose is above it, and it's a lot. I definitely feel better after vacation.
Yeah.
I don't feel as weighed down by everything. I feel like I can breathe, and I feel more clear-headed. I didn't think about the podcast at all while we were out there.
Yeah, I did constantly.
I didn't think about a fucking thing. I needed it. I needed to be able to shut that part off. Being able to go to a studio and work, leaving the house and doing that the past 2 days has been fucking amazing for me. So you're probably right. I'm being pessimistic.
I know that, like, and I may be speaking on the side of my neck, but I've watched you go from, well, I'm just going to do the recording stuff. You handle everything else, and that way I can still do stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife thing, and just have to record a couple hours and do our live streams, to I'm going to do a bath line, to I'm going to do this journal, to I'm going to learn sign language, to I'm going to do this, to I'm going to do that, to I'm going to do this, to I'm going to do that. So, like, you have that want to do more. I think you're reminiscing about the ability to not have to do it, though.
It's not the reminiscing. It's I have to get acclimated to the stress.
Yeah.
The stress is never going to go away. I just have to get reacclimated to it.
Why do you think it stresses you out so much?
Like I said, it's a mental workload for me. I'm putting together a self-help journal. Not even just that, just focusing on the podcast aspects of things. Almost every single time I leave the house, I get recognized. I know I'm being watched in public.
Yeah.
The way I interact with the children is being watched in public. everything I do
Is under a microscope.
is under a lens. And that's forever at this point.
Yeah.
So even driving around in my car, if I have my fucking window down, somebody could recognize me. I everything I do, I have to pay attention to it now. I had somebody stop me with the kids. So I know it happens. I know I'm getting recognized out with the children.
Yeah.
So I know people are watching me and see how they're paying attention to how I fucking parent.
People do that anyways, though.
I know, but
we are under a microscope.
it's me.
Right?
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
Back into the email. When we had been together for 2 years, things started going downhill. The intimacy faded. There were a couple of times when I dressed up for him and he turned me down. That hurt. I felt like I was doing something wrong or I was not good enough for him anymore. The urges came back to check his PC, and to my surprise, I found tons and tons of corn games. Games? There's corn games?
I have no idea. It's the first I've ever heard of that.
Okay. I've always been super confident and not shy when it comes to spicy time. Corn is something I occasionally watch as well. So I talked to him about it, and of course he raised his voice at me for invading his privacy. I told him that I would be okay with him watching it or playing the games, but at that point it was destroying our spicy life. I asked if there was something he wanted to change up. I asked if there is something that I am doing wrong or to teach me things that he likes. All I got was that it was nothing to do with me and that being spicy with a person is exhausting and it takes a lot of energy versus pleasing himself is a mental release.
Wow. Maybe for him it's true. Maybe she's a whole lot to deal with in bed and he can't keep up. What are you doing?
Rubbing my nose. That's not where my brain went with that.
No? Where'd your brain go with it?
That's an excuse. A reason to not be intimate. If you told me that being with me is too exhausting for you, that would fucking devastate me.
If I was a underperformer and I knew that I was not able to satisfy the needs that you had, that would be exactly how I felt. After a while, there would be a feeling of defeat, a feeling of like, why bother? Maybe he has sensitivity issues and doesn't last very long. Maybe he doesn't understand the foreplay aspect of it. Maybe, I mean, there could be a whole lot of things there, and they're all speculation, but...
I mean, he included his side of things, so it's there, but...
Yeah. That, I mean, and it could just be an excuse. It could be that he's looking for other things, and he's just not attracted to her anymore. I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying that there are a lot of facets to this scenario. But I do know for a fact that if I was unable to please you, and I knew that I was unable to please you, there would definitely be a whole lot of issues with our bedtime. A lot.
Yeah.
And it would get to the point for both of us, I'm sure, that it would not be enjoyable anymore because the psychological aspect would be very fucked up.
Yeah. A lot of it is psychological for me.
It is for me too.
Yeah. Do you think it's that way for a lot of people and they just don't recognize it?
I think that they recognize it. They just don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of people that get in their own heads, especially with the way the sex industries are.
Yeah.
Because it's a fantasy. They're selling you a lie. None of that shit is real. So for people like him who watch that shit on a regular basis and then go and try to emulate what they saw...
He's not going to get the same reaction as a chick that he watched.
Right. Or even be able to do the things that he saw.
Yeah.
You know, there are positions that are not possible for little guys. And there are positions that are not possible for really big guys because it could
damage.
Right. So like, right.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of that false expectation being set. It's no different than the smut books that we were talking about that women read in episode R&R 14.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing matters, right? Especially when you have this false expectation of what's going to happen and then it doesn't fucking happen. And all of the things that you've been watching for a dopamine response is now not real.
Right.
So you go back to that because that's satisfying that dopamine that you're not able to get with your person.
And eventually you will also build up a tolerance to that.
Yep.
I love our sex life.
Me too.
You want to do something Saturday night? And wink. Oh, you weren't looking.
I'm trying to like not blush on camera.
You can compose yourself a little bit.
Trying.
Okay. Oh, God. AJ might be editing this. Damn it.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Get past the fucking thought and move on. Stop. I can't. I appreciate the way you please me, Daddy. I really do.
You really just did that, huh?
I couldn't. I can't get past it. I have to say it. You need to know it. And I won't remember it after the podcast.
Yeah?
You have to know that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I was getting that anxiety like a clown was chasing me. All right. I don't know much about men at that point. Oh, I didn't know much about men at that point and whether it was true or not. So, as a man, do you feel it takes less energy to self-pleasure versus...
Yes. Yes, it does.
Okay. Is it less satisfaction?
Yes.
So
it depends on... Okay, so this is the psychological thing that we were just talking about.
Right.
So, you remember the Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky thing?
Yes.
You remember Dave Chappelle's like, he's a high-stress person that didn't have a whole lot of time. He stuck his head out the door and was like, you, come suck my... Right? And that's how the whole thing happened. Mm-hmm. That Dave Chappelle's joke of that. But it's funny because it's true. For a man who's in a high-stress position that needs that post-nut clarity or whatever the situation is, and for him to do that in the moment to just go about his day is very different than having intimacy. Mm-hmm. There is not an intimacy that comes with that. So like you're only getting the physical aspect of it, not the psychological aspect of it. Ooh. And that's lacking.
Do you think that specifically could be pushing men to hate women?
Yes.
Because the psychological aspect is not there.
Right.
Holy shit.
I think that is a factor of men hating women. I don't think that it's all of it. I think that a lot of the men hating women shit is because of the way women are now.
It could be. Did I say that? I didn't mean for that to be like the only reason.
No,
a contributing factor.
It is a very big contributing factor. But I think that that's just one part of the equation, and without all the other parts of the equation, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
It would not add up. No, nothing. You didn't like my equation joke?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sitting here trying to figure out because it's 2:00 and I'm like, okay, how much longer is this until we get to the men's perspective? So I scrolled down a little bit. I didn't hear it. I'm so sorry, babe. Do it again.
Then it's gone.
No.
It's gone. I was like, I said it was part of the equation, and without all those other parts, it doesn't add up. It was just a stupid dad joke, but
I like it though. It's
not
good.
funny the second time. It is what it is. Sometimes you miss them.
I'm sad now. Okay, so into the email. I just told him that I was not okay with it. Coming to today, he still plays those games and we still have issues. I could not be with a man who plays porn games.
I couldn't. If I was a woman, I wouldn't be with a man who played video games like that, period.
Like...
Just wouldn't. 3 to 4 hours a day of video games is too much for me.
Every single day, yes.
Yeah.
If it was...
5 days a week, it's too much.
If we designated Wednesday and Sunday nights, right? Those were the nights that y'all played because that's when all the boys can get together and you guys do what you do. Word, I get it. Every day, like you said, too much. I find out that someone is playing corn games. That gives me the ick. Don't touch me. I'm using hand sanitizer when I leave the room. Like, I didn't think there was a new low from my perspective, when it comes to the corn industry, that's it. That's the new low, a video game for sex.
Yeah. Wait until that shit gets put on VR and we have haptic suits that have feeling.
Oh, fuck, dude.
I mean,
Daddy.
this sex industry is already starting to change anyways because men are buying robots.
What?
Yep. There are sex robots. It's a thing. There's a movie coming out called The Creator. And The Creator is the story of Joshua who goes behind enemy lines to like kill something, right? And it's very much the story of Joshua from the Bible, but with technology. And the AI is actually the name of the king from the Bible that Joshua was sent to kill. So, anyways, there's
I want to watch that. That sounds dope.
That's the movie that was filmed on that camera.
Oh, that's right. You pointed that out to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. When we should watch that, and then we should deep dive the scripture to see where it correlates. Anyways,
I would love that.
Anyways, I don't remember why I brought that up. It had something to do with AI, and it's gone now. So.
Oh, sex robots.
Yeah, it's gone.
Okay. I'm a person who would like to get it a minimum of 2 times a week, but sometimes we do it once a week, and sometimes every 2 to 3 weeks.
And what are you doing about that?
Right. After COVID ended, we didn't go on dates anymore. Even the evenings where we played board games just vanished.
Oh, wait a minute. We can't just go. We can't just go by that. This is important. If you're somebody who wants it twice a week or 5 times a week or once a month, and you're not getting those needs met, what are you doing to change that? Because if you're not engaging your person at an intimate level and trying to spark that intimacy and bring that back into your life, you are just as guilty as they are for not doing it or initiating it. That is a two-way thing. That situation, if she wants it twice a week, if you really did want it twice a week, you would be trying to get it twice a week.
Well, she was dressing up and trying to get his attention, and he wasn't in the mood. He would shut it down.
Yeah, I still think that she would continue trying to make that be a thing. And if that means that she's got to do whatever he's into to like facilitate that, like,
I think it would be different if all of the emotional damage wasn't already there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Like, after seeing him flirt with another woman in front of me, knowing that she did it on purpose because she likes attention from men, and he facilitated that. And then we went to this super dope intimacy. We were having intimate nights playing board games. And I'm dressing up, and I'm getting ignored. Like you said, it would fall into like men who would bring something up, nothing changes, why bring it up again?
Yeah, I get that too. But I also understand that the intimacy is the only thing that you can't go for outside of your marriage or relationship. Like that's, I mean, obviously he is.
Yeah.
But she also does it too. She admitted it.
Yeah,
So here you go. You have 2 people in a relationship doing the exact same thing.
Reaping what you sow.
And you're reaping what you sow. You are planting your seeds in toxic fields and hoping for fruit. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't even condone self-pleasuring.
In a relationship, I don't either.
Like, if y'all do that, cool for you. I view that as me cheating on you. That is me taking away the opportunity for you to satisfy my needs.
Right.
I'm outsourcing it. Even if it's me, I am outsourcing it.
Yeah. People are going to think that that's an extreme take on that, and it can be.
It is what it is.
I agree with it. I would rather you tell me that your needs aren't being met and like you need some playtime and allow me to do that, because otherwise you are taking that job away from me. You know what I mean? Like, but there's also something to be said about you coming to me going, hey, there's a sexual frustration right now. I need you to take care of this. That goes, I'm failing. It's been 3 days. There's not been any intimacy. What's going on right now that's making her feel that way? And it makes me, it would make me reflect on what's going on as to why that intimacy is faded.
So, okay, let me ask you this. Why does your mind go to you're failing?
Because that's my job.
Right. But if there's a sexual frustration, it could just be an increase in hormones.
That's not what I was getting at with that though.
Okay.
I meant in terms along the lines of you not having your needs taken care of.
Okay. I just didn't see the sexual frustration thing equating to someone being a failure.
If you were not having your needs met, and I am your man, and I'm supposed to be doing that, that does equate to failure. Hang on. I don't remember what we were talking about before that phone call, and we should probably move on anyways.
Okay. Back into the email, I found a job. I was managing a cafe and I loved it. But because I did all the cleaning and cooking for so long and he became comfortable with it, those things still stayed on my shoulders. At one point, I was overwhelmed and asked him to do the dishes, vacuum, or take the garbage out. This is where I made a lot of mistakes as well because I was not patient enough. If the task was not done by a certain time, I just did it by myself. I think the communication played a huge role as well because I asked him to do the things. He said, yeah, give me a moment, or yeah, give me a sec. Sometimes a day went by and it would still not be done, so I would just do it myself. So in that instance, if a day goes by, I would do a gentle reminder.
I think a day is too long.
Yeah?
If you're like, babe, I'm about to cook dinner, can you take the trash out? And like 15 minutes goes by, gentle reminder.
Okay, yeah, you're
babe,
right.
Are you busy?
Trash.
Are you busy right now? I'd be like, no, what's up? And be like, all right, can you
Trash.
can you get the garbage for me, please? I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. But if I'm in the middle of something, I'm responding to emails or I'm editing, and 15 minutes goes by, that 15 minutes goes by fast.
Right.
I may not have realized it was 15 minutes. If you ask me to do something and a fucking day goes by, I've had a lot of time that I could have allocated 30 seconds of my time to do something.
Right.
I don't know how long it takes to do dishes. You just fucking throw them in the dishwasher and push a button, but...
Well, I pre-wash them before they go in.
Right.
So. You're right. If I'm cooking dinner, I would be like, hey, babe, chicken, trash can.
You've actually used those 3 words verbatim to me.
I have. I had raw chicken on my hands. I can't. I did kind of put ourselves in that situation. I would let a day go by.
I wouldn't.
If I'm asking you to like vacuum or whatever it is, I know how busy our lives are. I'm not going to, if I happen to walk past 2 or 3 hours has gone by and I notice that it's still not done, I'd be like, hey, babe, the thing. But I'm also super busy. It might be a day until I realize that it hasn't been done yet. And then gentle reminder.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I got to be honest. If I need you to do something and I'm asking you to do it, it's because I need it done that day, not after the fact.
Right.
So I'm not doing that. If I asked you to do something and the next day happened, I would just do it myself.
Right. I would also do that though. If it was something minute and not heavy lifting and I can do it, I'll do it and not bother you again with it.
But it's also not something to argue about.
No, I would do it in silence. And if a week goes by and you're like, oh, fuck, I didn't do the thing, I'd be like, don't worry, babe, I got it. It's fine. I'm taken care of.
But I think that would also become problematic for some people too, depending on the delivery of I took care of it.
Yeah.
But that also comes down to keeping score and people getting salty over stupid shit. Like, your life needs to run.
Right.
And it comes down to like, does it really matter how it runs just so long as it runs? Like, that matters more to me, that our life is functioning and everything is working the way that it's supposed to, versus who's doing what.
Right.
But I also think that's my perception of our lives.
I love you.
I love you too. Let's get back to the email because you were supposed to leave 10 minutes ago.
I was. At one point, I was frustrated because work was a lot and I found myself nagging, and I regret that a lot. But now I know to do better. I've been struggling with myself and my thoughts. I had to learn what my boundaries are, what I agree with, and what are hard no's. Due to that, I have moved out 3 times in this 4-year relationship. 2 times it was just for a few weeks, and the 3rd time it was for half of a year.
Half of a year? That sounds like a long breakup.
Yeah.
That sounds like you should have moved on.
I agree. I still, to this day, go to a psychologist, and I am healing myself. I've changed a lot as a person, and I've started to develop more boundaries, and I know what I like and don't like. I've said it to him as well, that I am not a 20-year-old girl anymore. I am not sure if we have grown apart, but we haven't had a strong foundation since the beginning. We have been in counseling. It did not work out. I admitted to my faults in the relationship and started to change them, But from his side, I didn't see a change. I decided to end going there as it was expensive and I have a psychologist for myself already and was already working on my faults that reflected in the relationship. There was a lot of trust that has been broken between us, and I'm thinking that all of this is just too much, and this has damaged the relationship to a point where I can't make it work. So that's the end of her perspective. It goes on into the man's perspective. My final thought on this is you can break a vase and put it back together once.
It'll never be the same.
And it will never be the same. You break it again, it's going to shatter a different way. You're going to put it back together and it's not going to be the same as it was the first 2 times. And there's going to be more pieces missing. Eventually, you're going to break that vase enough, you're not going to have anything left to put back together.
It can be repurposed, though.
It can be repurposed. Make it into a little mosaic table to sit out on your porch. And that's okay.
Right. There's a lot in this, and a lot of this comes down to forgiveness and change.
Yeah.
I hate to be like, well, the apology languages. Because my apology languages show me. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say. That means absolutely nothing to me. Mm-hmm. I don't do well with apologies. I really don't. If somebody fucks up and they're like, yo, I really fucked up. I did that. It won't happen again. Mm-hmm. And the change happens. I can respect that a whole lot more than I'm sorry every single time something happens, because you're not fucking sorry. If you were sorry, you would have fixed your shit. Like, there's no weight behind people's words anymore. I believe that.
I agree.
People don't have enough integrity behind their speech. So the I'm sorry shit doesn't matter. And it sounds to me like she's needing to see change from him.
And it's not happening.
And it's not happening. You're dropping the headpiece down too.
Because I'm putting the footrest down.
Do the other button.
What other button? That's just this.
No, okay, so lift it back up. No, go forward.
Yeah, it's still going to move.
You can do one and not the other.
No.
Huh.
It's always both.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy more chairs like this for the studio?
I do very much enjoy these chairs. I like being able to lounge and get comfy, especially when we're sitting here for a few hours at a time.
Well, I need to know because I have to order furniture.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I want them in white? Maybe not.
The only other option is navy blue. It's dark. I'm not a fan.
Okay, the
white. It will contrast different on the walls, though.
Right.
But it will be more of a blue tone than a black. So
I'm good on blue. Let's do the white.
Okay, so next week we're going to get into his side of the email. Mm-hmm. It sounds very much from her perspective that she needs to visibly see change happening, and it's not. I think there's a complacency on his part from her side that he's just accepted that this is the way the life is, mm-hmm. and doesn't see the need to be better.
Yeah. We still have to read his side of perspective on things. Until I know his perspective on it, you can't change somebody.
No.
If he doesn't want to change, you can't make him. You already said the couples counseling did not work out. I will say that there are people who are meant to be a learning lesson in your life. There are people who are going to come into your life who are purely there to be temporary. And you are going to gain knowledge from that. You're going to gain experience from that. And like you've said, you've learned what you will tolerate and what is an absolutely hard no for you. Yeah. And it sucks to know that you had to sit in that room with him and that other woman and go through that. But now you know you're not okay with it.
Right. And this is what we were talking about earlier with the life lessons.
Right.
These things have to happen so that you know what you can and can't endure.
Right. And it could be with this guy. You guys could make things work and he could change everything and you guys can work together. Or this could have been the learning lesson, the life experience you needed to prepare yourself for the man who is meant to be in your life. Both of those scenarios are okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So real quick before we end this, our Patreon channel is going through some revamping. There is going to be a new segment starting sometime in October. That is a woman's segment with Peaches. We're going to still call it Pondering with Peaches, but it'll actually be a interview-based thing that will be exclusive to our Patreon channel. So if you want to get in onto that, join Patreon. Mm-hmm. Our Discord community is still growing. We are working on getting some of the mods to come to Florida to actually be on the show so that you guys can see faces to the names for those of you who are in Discord.
Yep.
We are in the process of creating more content for Patreon. And we are going to start doing email reads for Patreon again. So if you are a member of Patreon and you have an email that you've been waiting to get read and it's not laden with DV, SA, or child abuse, just shoot us an email and be like, hey, I'm in Patreon. My email was never read. And that way the screeners can do their thing. Also, I think that we need to contact the screeners and be like, when we reject emails, we need to send an email rejection.
I agree.
That way we can handle that. We have a whole lot of things in the works right now. To Be Better is definitely evolving. We've been saying that for a few months now, but now the work is happening to like really transition that shit. So
now we have the means to make it all happen.
Yep.
I want to touch on the women's segment as well. I do not anticipate being able to get a woman on the segment every week.
I think you could.
I think I could too, but I am also prepared to sit down by myself and to just discuss things happening. I have learned some things about how women are being treated in other countries, and I would like to shed light on that. So if there is ever a time where I have to sit down by myself for 30 minutes and talk about something, I am fully prepared to do that.
Yeah, we're going to start doing a lot more content that's Patreon exclusive. We're also going to be doing interviews that start on YouTube and end on Patreon. And it'll start on like Spotify, and then it'll also switch over to Patreon. We want to be able to create content for free still to give everyone the value that we've been giving you. But we want to be able to have value for the people who are truly financially supporting what we're doing. So.
Right.
With that being said, guys, we will be doing his story on next week's episode, so tune back in for that. And as always, you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.